It is the technology show where we translate geek.
Into regular speak.
And he still remembers. Well, you should. You're a regular. You're a founder. Hello, Mr. Sternberg.
Greetings and
Good,
salutations.
good. Look, I made a special slide for you, bud. Look at this.
Ah,
Co-host of the week. How cool is that?
yeah, that's it. Excellent.
So we wouldn't be doing you or anyone else justice if we didn't say, Aryeh, tell us what KUDO is.
KUDO is the global leading multilingual web conferencing platform. You can join together in multiple languages, speak whatever language you want, and you're going to hear the language you're speaking. It's the most incredible tool on the planet for meetings and events. Come check it out, kudoway.com.
Fantastic. Well, there's the plug. There's your plug. We'll give you some more plugs later on in the show, but let's get on to Thingz with a Z.
Excellent.
So, I'm really, really excited about this one. Now, I have to first of all say, I'm sitting here at home. As you can see, I'm still not in the studio. You're in your home office. So me reviewing a business card might seem a little bit weird, given that I'm not seeing anyone anytime soon. But that's us here in Australia. So there are people around the world that actually are running around and seeing people and greeting. So if you haven't figured it out by yet, Vice, which is spelt with a 1, which is pretty cool, is the way they word it. It is the last business card you will ever need. In fact, the packaging when it arrives. So let me click through. So that's what the card looks like. And then that cool thing, I've actually got physical ones to show you. We're going to have some fun today. So when it arrives in the mail, it comes, I think I've got that on my camera, and you pull a little tab over here. I want to do it so that it doesn't fall out. And if I'm going to just quickly do that and that, which way have I got it? That way. And it says there, this is the only business card you will ever need. And look at that. Underneath it is my business card. And it's printed with my company name on. And I have a QR code at the back. And this is an NFC-enabled card. So the picture you can see on the screen, that's what it looks like. I do have one of those cool key fobs as well that you see on the screen. And I haven't put my sticker on yet, but there's my little sticker. Now, this is not just a sticker to stick swag on for the sake of sticking stickers on. This is, it's also NFC. So the key fob is NFC enabled, and that little sticker is NFC. So the idea is you put in your phone, and when you meet someone, you tap. Now, have a look at this. I want to try to do a live experiment. I don't know if I've blown that up enough. If you've got your phone with you, because we're not together, right? And I know that your phone supports NFC, but if you try read that QR code, and if it doesn't work, I'll be able to show everyone else.
No, it works. Let's see.
Right. So, okay. So what I've done, in case it didn't work, is I did that. So there we go.
Yeah,
so
I got the same thing.
All right. So you scan the QR code, or you could have tapped. So basically, we go to a meeting. We were talking about some swag just before the show started. And someone says, have you got a business card? And you go, sure. You ask them to take out their phone, and you either tap your card against the NFC or flick it over so they can scan the QR code, and that's what you get. And all of those links on there are hyperlinked. Now, what makes the software really cool is, in fact, I've got the dashboard here as well. I can show you the dashboard. So where you were, where you scan that off, if you can see that on your screen, I've created multiple links. The one that's highlighted is my link tree, which brought up that image that you saw. And in my link tree, I could add anything. My bio website, book a meeting, my contact card, which will save to contacts. By the way, how cool is that phone that my screenshot's on?
It's pretty cool phone.
It is pretty cool. That's the new TCL. Who's phoning me? Oh, you phoning me.
I'm testing. I'm testing.
Well, it works, right?
It does. Very cool.
You never have to carry a business card again. Now, I'm infamous for not having enough business cards or not having business cards on me when I go out. I'm always switching bags or, well, I just don't have business cards. So this little key fob, I'm going to try and do a live demo. I'll do it from the back. So basically, I take the key fob. So now I've got my keys with me because wherever I go, I've got my keys. And I just run it underneath. And there we go. It's firing up. There's the screen. So just from tapping, and the same for the sticker. So even if I didn't have my keys, if I had the sticker on my phone, I could have just tapped my phone. That doesn't give you a QR code option, obviously. But yeah, so it's a company out of the United Kingdom. I have got a little scroller going on there. You can go to the smemall.org, type in V1CE, Vice, and you can get a link and go through and get your own. So had a bit of fun. I'm being optimistic that we're going to be running around out of lockdown again soon, and I can go around tapping. But the last thing I want to say on this before we get into all the cool tech stuff and news and other cool and wonderful fun things, not that this isn't cool. The last thing about this, though, is that when you print a business card, and you and I have actually gone through this. Do you remember when we had ComScore and then we didn't have ComScore? So we had to print business cards and we had to reprint the business cards. You literally log into your dashboard. So if I go back to here, where's it? I'm going the wrong way. But you go back into your dashboard and you just change it there. And the card changes and the fob changes and the little sticker, it all just changes automatically because it's linked to the information you've put there. It's a URL. So you really do not ever have to print another business card again.
I do have a question, and if you
Yeah.
are in contact with the Vice team, the only gripe I could say is wearing a creative hat is I know you've got the Beyond Intent color on there.
Yeah.
A little, if you can tweak the look and feel of that interface, just
You can.
the
You
links,
can. So what
like the
you
font
do,
face and stuff.
you can do anything. So so I designed it that way, and I wanted that, when we designed it Beyond Intent, this was always going to be where's it? There was always going to be a little Iron Man logo. And I go we because for the listeners that don't know, Ari and I started Beyond Intent together. So just hashtag just saying. So so I'm no designer, and Ari, you know that. I mean, I've got a great designer. Hello, Chantel. I don't design. You've always done presentation. You've actually never given me kudos, by the way, for how good I've become at PowerPoint, considering I never used to do it, and I even do animation. So they've got an on-screen editor. You can either drag up your logo, so it's already designed, or you can create a logo or a font or whatever you want to do inside there. It really is easy to use. I literally just dragged that one up, and that was my PNG file, which is on a clear background. So that's why it's got the black in the background. I could have done the other one with the reverse colors. And then they show you what it looks like and you approve it. It's a really simple system. And then if you get stuck, you can reach out to their design team and I suppose they can help you or
stuff.
tweak it up. It arrived in the mail. It was quick. It was painless. As I said, unfortunately, we do find ourselves in lockdowns now, so I'm not going to be able to run around and share my toys with anyone. But the point is like even what you did now, right? Just by showing the QR code on the screen. So I mean, I could literally take my card on a conference call, do that, and you could scan that from wherever you are and get all the information you need. And I can also send you the link. So I could send you the link, and then it would open up on your phone, computer, whatever. So very cool. I've loved NFC. I've always loved NFC. And I think with us all running around now, tapping everything, it's probably COVID safe as well because you're not giving anything to anyone. So yeah, Vice.
Totally. The only thing I'd add on to that, the fact that you did share
one and a
Wait, am I
bamboo one
still?
as well. So that's pretty cool.
Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you, okay?
Oh, okay. I would just add that 3 years ago, I think even then people would point and say, well, QR codes, I don't know. The one thing you may have mentioned this before that COVID has done is made QR codes prevalent, particularly in Australia, but I think every market, it is the easiest way to check in, to a place. And for us here, you have to be able to read a QR code. So using it in business, and especially in this kind of a use case, putting a QR code in your signature on email even, it's probably faster and easier to scan your QR code and save files than try to like copy and paste and save into whatever your app. So
and I think on that note, I have to give shout out to New South Wales for all the people that don't have smartphones, which believe me, there are actually quite a few. I think it's as much as 14% of our market is not on a smartphone, which is a significant number of people. New South Wales Services have just launched a QR code. So you go online to services, you register, and then they post you a card to carry. So it's pretty much like what I'm carrying, well, will be carrying. so that when you need to check in, they can actually scan you and check you in. So it's a reverse check-in, but at least we can all still try and stay safe and help the contract tracers follow us.
Totally.
Anyway, moving on to business tech news. So what do we got? I think I actually gave away a little bit when I clicked earlier. So about a month ago, in fact, not about a month ago, it was the show on the 7th of July. I did the review on these. These are your, well, not yours. They're not mine either. I wish they are. This is TCL's NXT Wear. So the NXT is their little thing they use for their screens. G's. It's basically a cinema on your face. Plug it on, plug it in. So that it is a wired version. It goes into USB-C, and you can watch content up front and center in full, beautiful color. Reason I'm just mentioning it again today, TCL is a sponsor of the show. Thank you very much. And it launched yesterday, I think, or Monday this week at Harvey Norman. So if it is something you're interested in seeing, buying, going to play with, because up until then, I'd got a preview of it, which was really exciting and cool. They're at Harvey Norman now. I don't know if it's at every Harvey Norman. Maybe check first. But Harvey Norman, the NXT Wear G. Right. What else do we have? Okay. So, Apple. I always mention Apple in my shows. I don't think there's a single show that I do without Apple. They've just announced that they are going to be looking at our phones and looking for images of child abuse, as they word it, which is actually a nice way of wording it.
Yeah, for what they're actually doing, yeah.
So here's the thing. I'm actually on the fence on this one. I haven't made up my mind yet. There are some people that think this is the best thing in the world. So just for the people that haven't read the article, just to put the story in perspective, what's going to happen is iPhones running on version 15, I think it is, which launches imminently, will be able to scan all your photos, and specifically the photos you load or move or transmit, to look for anything that represents child pornography, child abuse, anything that would be illegal. And if it flags it, then a human will look at it to confirm or say no, it isn't, and the appropriate action will or won't be taken. Now, I say I'm sitting on the fence. I'm a parent. I'm vehemently against any harm to children or women, or anyone for that matter, but specifically harming of children. But I still haven't made up my mind if this is a good idea, purely because initially I thought it was a good idea. And now I'm thinking, but what about the privacy? Not that pedophiles deserve any form of privacy, but I'm not a pedophile, and I've never transmitted, owned, shared, copied, had, possessed anything that's illegal. And now Apple's going to be checking all my photos. I don't know. What do you think of it?
Who decides?
Well, this
I
is the
take
thing, right?
I take a picture. Look, I like openly. I bathe my daughter every day. There are families where people take baths together. It's
Yep.
cultural. In
Yeah.
Japan, fudo is a cultural thing up to an age of adulthood. You share a bath because you share the water, and given the climate situation, that's actually maybe applauded if everyone's clean. But where people take photos and what they take photos of, it's kind of like who's putting that cultural layer of judgment. And I'm if you're doing stuff on your phone then you're keeping photos of stuff you shouldn't have your photos of, go get a burner phone.
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't buy an Apple, right?
And I hadn't thought of it from that point of view, because my kid's not young anymore, but I've probably got tens or hundreds of pictures of Cade when he was a baby, and I'm pretty sure there's things that shouldn't be floating around, but it's fine because it wasn't taken for distribution or sharing, but
It's
you're taking
yours.
a picture of your kid lying in the bath, or so as I said, I'm on the fence on this one. I'm not 100% sure if I think it's a good idea or a bad idea. Maybe you should be given the choice I suppose to say, if you're given the choice to opt in or opt out, then that's going to put up a red flag. Why would you opt out? I don't know. I think we'll let the governments work out what they can and can't do. But in this age of privacy and privacy protection, that's quite a big one. So I don't know.
It's a big one.
We'll see. Okay, so This, I have to give a compliment to this before I click the slide, because I know it's going to do something. So this is the stage setting screen teaser for the Samsung Unfold event or Unpack event that actually will be on. I think it's going to be early hours of our time tomorrow, right? Because I think it's 10 o'clock Eastern
Imminent.
time today. So it'll be
Yeah,
tonight. It'll be like late tonight in Australia,
midnight.
or even early hours of tomorrow, I think. Now, why I have to give kudos to this is the way they've done it, light showing the fold. I think it's a pretty decent design effect. And that's why I didn't want to click the button. So we know we're going to see Fold 3, and we know we're going to see Flip 3. I know the S Pen is coming into Fold 3, which I know that's probably going to be the thing that probably makes you get one of these devices, because that S Pen and the Note, that's always been your go-to.
Have you held the Flip form factor?
I have. So here's my experience with it, right? And in fact, I want to give a shout out to Nadal as well, because Nadal has actually been my guinea pig. So
Yep.
he got the Flip 2. I don't think anyone got the Flip 1. He got the Flip 2. And I talked about this on the show. In fact, I think you and I were on that show when I mentioned this. I thought it was a great idea. But what happens 1 year from now or from then with that folding, that opening and closing, the crease along there?
Mm.
So I had a chat with Nadal a couple of weeks ago, actually, and I asked him to show me his phone, and there was no wear and tear marks. So I actually have to take that statement back, because I was like, yeah, it's great. It's a wonderful idea. But come a year from now, you're going to have this flashing along the fold. When plastic folds, it gets a flash, like a milky, like a milky
Like
color.
it's
When
like a
you bend
yeah,
your credit card, when you get an old
totally.
credit card that you have to destroy, or your wife's credit card, which you should destroy, you know, you get that flashing. And I thought that was going to happen to the device, and it hasn't. And he uses it every day, and he opens and closes it every day. So yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure what this one will do, and if it will be better or worse. But I did enjoy it. I enjoyed the factor, I must say. Not the little one, not the, what do they call it, the Flip. I didn't
The
enjoy
Flip,
that.
I think that the Flip, especially for the users who want that pocketable solution, because it's slim as well. Like when you flip it, it's I don't know what it would look like, but it's no thicker than this with my case on it. You know, maybe like a slight bit thicker, and having that S Pen capability on that size phone that you want to take it out and just take notes. I think that's a really smart factor, because you move out of the geekness of a massive phone, and you open the door to, you know, who this is an assumption, but like gender wise, I think there are more women than men that probably own the Flip, just
Yeah,
because
yeah, yeah.
it's
I
in your
would say it's
purse, you
effective.
throw
It
it
goes
in.
into their handbag. Yeah, yeah.
Totally.
Yeah, that's
And
so. Hold on a second. I got to interrupt you there. Are you saying that they've designed an S Pen that will compress to go inside the Flip 3? Because I
no,
know that the phone.
it'll be a separate S Pen, but
Oh, okay.
just yeah, but
That's a problem. That's a fail. I mean, that's a
yeah.
fail. If they made so if you think back to the first stylus type phones, I'm going to be corrected here. It might have been HP that had a compressing, or the Sony Ericsson. One of them had a
Sony
little.
had like a little nub thing, which was just a
Oh,
total
that was a
fail.
nub that clipped on. But someone
Yeah.
else had a pen that actually compressed, and
Okay.
I'm quite sure it was actually Hewlett Packard. They made a phone that looked like the BlackBerry. It had a keyboard, and on the top was this thing you pulled out, and it compressed. It
Yeah.
did a little compressy thing. Now that inside the Flip will give you the best worlds of both. You've got the small phone. You've got when it opens to what a Note was, but I suppose there's too many working parts. Anyway, I'm not a phone designer. I think we're going to be disappointed at this event. And the reason I say that is, so let's take the Fold and the Flip. We've seen this is the third version of it. Okay. Um, okay. So, like Samsung always used to one up on Apple. They would always come up with the extra camera, or the Fold was a big one up, but that's 3 years ago, like 2.5, 3 years ago. So unless we see something, I'm going to say maybe in the earbuds, like the true wireless side of things, we might see something. I am excited to see their new like 2-in-1s, their computers, their Chromebooks and their Windows machines. Not that Windows excites me by any way, shape, or form, but the factor that they build has been getting better and better and better on their
Yeah.
tabs. It could be quite interesting. But I guess we'll have to wait for, well, out tomorrow. I'm not going to stay up for it. If it was Apple, I'd stay up, but not Samsung. Sorry, Samsung. No hate, just not going to stay up for the show. Now, this is interesting. Did you ever own a Pixel, Aryeh?
I did.
Did you? All right. So there's a couple of things I've noticed about the new Pixel. One is that 9:30, is that the date? Is that the 30th of September when they're going to launch it? Because that's in the imaging that's going out. So I don't know if that's when the event is slated for. But the other thing I've noticed is it's probably going to be Apple inside because, like Apple, they're now making their own silicon. Now, where this is very, very interesting is what happens to the Intels of the world, the Qualcomms of the world, Foxconn, all these companies. Well, Foxconn's been acquired by Apple. If the two major players are making their own silicon, the bottom line effect to the other two companies has to be massive. And then, of course, Samsung will follow suit. In fact, that might actually happen in the event. They might announce their own silicon as well. And if anyone's geared enough to make it, it's them. I mean, they make everything. So I had to put a little Apple inside there. That was just a stab at you. I have to say,
That's all right.
though, 4 years ago, 5 years ago, 6 years ago, I don't know, when the notch came out and you had to go because of the Apple notch, dude, that is the most hideous thing I've ever seen in my life. I think that you need mountain climbing gear to climb the size of that ridge. Now you can defend it. You can, well, you can. It's hideous.
I won't defend it, and I think that this is ridiculous.
Well, so is
Just
Apple. I mean,
even that
Apple's
is
got
ridiculous.
okay,
Yeah,
I've got a funny case on mine. They've also raised it up, but
yeah.
that, like, what? Someone
That
thinking the lenses can go deeper so they can get more.
maybe I don't think. Look, TCL, OnePlus, Xiaomi, they've all been able to make a
Yeah,
leveled
look
phone
here.
without a bump.
Totally,
Uh,
totally level.
yeah,
These are running Sony
Sony,
optic.
Sony,
So, yeah.
which is the one that has the Hasselblad? I think is it OnePlus,
Motorola normally partners with them, and Leica
right?
partners with Huawei.
Yeah. So you don't I don't think that is necessary. I think that there's a way around that.
So here's the question, and I think this is a leaked photo. This is not confirmed, but generally these guys are quite good. I mean, they look at phone cover manufacturers and mold manufacturers to get their data. They don't really make this stuff up. 9 out of 10 times they're accurate. Do you think this is a statement so that people like you and me jump onto a conversation and say, have you seen the new Pixel 6 and how hideous the notch is at the back? Like, why? It looks like a deadly weapon. You could open a beer with it. Like you could actually crank a beer. You know how you use a cigarette lighter? You could now use your phone to open a beer. In fact, I need to
I,
learn an animation. I'm going to start
I
cranking beers.
it's not the same effect as, and I'm sure you talked about it to death 1 or 2 episodes ago with what Nothing did with the earbud, the ear
Yeah, yeah.
ones. That this is like the opposite. Like this is definitely not generating positive buzz of like, oh my god, it's revolutionizing. This is like de-evolutionizing. This is unnecessary bumpage. It's like get rid of it.
I've got it.
Seriously.
I wonder if I can actually create a banner while we live. Let's see if where's my mouse? I'm going to actually try and put a banner up. I love that. Unnecessary bumpage. Let's go scroll. Does that work? There we go. Unnecessary bumpage. Okay, at least I can do live posts and comments while we talk. I'm going to hashtag unnecessary bumpage and credit you with that one. Let's move
Excellent.
along. You actually mentioned Sony, and I must say, before I click the next slide, Sony's new phone that's just come out, the Xperia is their phone range. My heart bleeds for these guys. It really does, and I mean that sincerely. Sony was positioned to have one of the best mobile phones. Like I'm talking about high-end stuff now. I'm not talking about
Mm,
mid-range. I'm talking about high-end stuff. They featured in movies, in Batman, in The Saint, in James Bond. Like the build is beautiful. They've taken all the bloatware out of their versions of Android, and yet they've never ever succeeded. I've owned two Xperias as my Android phones. I always have an Android phone. Thankfully now I have a TCL because obviously being a show sponsor, and I like the phone. Um, why has Sony never dominated the Android market? Like, what did they do wrong? The Bravia screen technology, camera technology, audio technology that they have. Why did they? And they weren't priced out of the market. I wish someone could explain that to
mm.
me, like why they couldn't succeed. Anyway, what do you think? I don't know.
Well, I mean, their phones are very high end and they work very, very well. But like where their experimentation with the screen dimensions, I just don't think that they read the demands of people well enough, and they could have gone in a different direction instead of creating an elongated phone that you can't play any content on. Um,
Oh,
it's
you
meant to
talking
be
about,
like
yeah, they did the 21 to 6 ratio or something like that. They had a
yeah,
funny, they did have, I remember that, you're right. But they've
like
changed that over the years, Aria. And they came
they've
out,
they've,
all the phones
they've
do
come
this
back
L and XL and, you know,
totally.
I
I
don't know.
think I just think it's part marketing, part budget, part just the explosion of the likes of Oppo and Xiaomi and just TCL, for that matter, just companies that are out there and doing a hell of a job and pricing it way below what they're charging. And when you can get like a high end, high performing phone for sub $100,
Yeah.
what are you gonna do? You can't be
But
charging a
people still
thousand
buy
bucks.
Samsungs and they still buy Huawei's and they still buy Apple iPhones. Okay,
They
don't
do.
leave iPhone out of discussion because you're not comparing Android with Android.
No,
My heart really beats for these guys because I said, I think their phone, their build quality is good. Can you hear that noise in the background, by the way? That, like, no? Yes?
not really.
No.
No.
Good. I've got my Ecovacs robot running around. It's just come under my chair. I can feel it bumping my feet. So it's busy cleaning. See, I'm multitasking. While I'm geeking out on the show, we've got a robot cleaning the floor. Okay, so I've put this slide up. Now, this is a topic or genre or industry, choose any one, that you and I love. And I haven't spoken about VR for quite some time, so I'm quite excited to chat to you about this. So for the viewers, on looking at the screen, on the right is the Sony headset, on the left is the Oculus Facebook headset. Um, why have we not seen VR just like go vertical? What has been the thing that has just made this technology not boom the way we thought it would boom 3 years ago? What, locking you out?
No.
Cost?
Content.
Content. Okay.
It's
So let's
there's
stop there
there's
for a second. What about with Netflix now with Paramount Plus launching here and BizBox and BritBox and watching content? Are you saying that for watching it's not designed, it's gaming?
so for those that don't know, I'm the title is vice president, but basically I had a group called XR Associates for Australia. It's the XR Associates, a group of XR, AR and VR companies and professionals across Asia Pacific who band together to support and develop the industry. And the biggest challenge that we face across the board is that what is the killer use? What is the killer app or the killer use case? Why would you wear a VR headset for longer than 15 minutes to play a game of Beat Saber or jump in, a game? You're locked in. And even if you're in a community-based experience, you're still locked away from people in your immediate sphere. And
Yeah.
we may talk about that a little bit later with what Facebook is doing, but you just we're not there. We're not there yet. And as you can see on the Sony headset, it's still wired. And as incredible and amazing as the experience is going to be, you're still locked in an
You're still
individualized.
tethered.
You're in, what Facebook's trying to do with, breaking the augmented reality barriers so you can engage with your environment. It's going to make a big difference for the user. And like, I'd love to be able to take those TCL smart glasses and have three huge screens up and still be able to see my keyboard and type.
Yeah.
Because for me, I'd much rather, that's a much nicer form factor. So I can do
On that
Bluetooth
note,
keyboard.
you can. So you can see under the TCL glasses. They're not a block out. I mean, if you look, they look like glasses. I mean, no
Yeah.
different to these. So you actually could sit and work on the end top in theory. I mean, you don't have to look at your keyboard and you could have your screens up there and it does give you the equivalent of like 100-inch real estate.
Yeah.
But I think it's something on the head is also, you're locking out and you're immersing, which is the correct terminology. For extended period of times, things happen to you from a biological point of view.
Totally.
By putting reverse cameras out that now show you your world, like with what Meta did originally. Um, does that help? Probably not. Is cost a problem? I don't know. I just don't know why this tech hasn't really taken off. And I'm not too much to the people that have bought into it. I'm talking about like just general people don't wake up in the morning and go, oh shit, I need to buy a VR headset. Like it's not a conversation.
The buzz of the week, or of the last week and a half, with Zuckerberg's announcement of making Facebook a metaverse company, and everyone now talking about the metaverse. And I've had multiple conversations and um, debates about what is the metaverse and is Facebook, the metaverse. And we don't need to talk about that here. But when you create that fully immersive, interactive environment where you're not locked into like a single place and you can carry yourself and engage, like fully without any tether, uh, and you add the element of touch, through haptics, and
Yeah.
possibly smell through, olfactory bursts of whatever gas in your nose, whatever it might be. You open
Sweat,
opportunities.
the new
Yes,
VR.
yeah, I know. But there's just, it's like what you see on the screen, wearing that on your head for 4 hours is just
Yeah,
painful, no
it
matter
is painful.
how you cut
Yeah.
it.
But I mean, I thought, where I thought VR might have finally also got a step up was with work from home to actually immerse yourself in and then go into the metaverse. That would have made sense. Like your Zoom call now puts you at the table, the HoloLens, what's it called? The Microsoft HoloLens concept. But
Totally.
again, that's expensive.
There's there's a Logitech, I think it's a Logitech keyboard and mouse that will map to into your VR, so you can actually see it, and through hand tracking you can actually track and see your hands typing on the keyboard. But
Oh,
it's
that's cool.
so it's not seamless enough. And I was having a conversation with someone else today about something completely different, but there's so many steps to take. Like Oculus is the closest to make it as easy as possible to enter VR. I don't know if you remember Steam, and HTC Vive, but that
Yeah,
that
yeah,
hardware setup was, there were so many steps to get in,
yeah.
and get into the store and like set up your avatar and stuff. Like Facebook, you turn it on, you set up your, what do you call it, your guardian space, so you don't hit your walls and stuff, and then you're in and you can start either using your hands or using the controllers to download content and stuff. But it's still, it's not, I won't say it's clunky, but there's a long way to go.
Yeah.
I think for the general population, yeah, we're
You know,
not there yet.
I'm maybe going to change my bets and heads. Well, I was always a bigger fan of AR than VR when it came to the XR, the whole universe, hyper reality. One, now that I have to wear glasses more frequently, or in fact, anytime I look at a screen, I have to wear my glasses now. So to me, an AR headset would make so much more sense that data could just come here, which effectively gives me second screen. I don't need to have a second or third screen. I can have all my data feed coming here. And the Google
Plus,
Glass concept. Yeah, yeah. But think about it. That was the right thinking in the right direction. If you fast forward now and integrated them into a decent looking pair, which we're going to see soon. I know Facebook's done something with Ray-Ban. Apple's been rumored to launch an AR headset for forever. but they've also rumored to bring Steve Jobs back from the dead. So don't know. What have you got there? I can't see the screen. Oh, those are Snap, aren't they?
I mean, Snap's doing all kinds of stuff.
Did you buy Snap spectacles?
I didn't buy. I've got them on loan, and I meant to be reviewing them one of these days on one of these on one of our shows, but I just haven't been bothered to open it up because I just don't think that taking photos with your glasses, because this isn't even a video and this is just a photo one. Yeah. It's like so much work when I can just take out my phone and take a photo.
Just try and get your. Well, remember like when those watches came out, they had a camera, and you're like, okay, but one second, I can't see what my watch is seeing. So yeah, I don't know. Tech for the sake of tech doesn't make sense at all.
No.
Tech that actually is functional and practical, yes. But anyway, so let's move on from that one. Oh, this is sad. I'm staying with gaming because that's obviously where VR is. So that is a screenshot of something we're not going to get to see again this year. That is PAX down in Melbourne. They got cancelled again, so it's 2 years in a row. So Kate and I were ready to go. We had our masks. We were hooked up and ready to go. There we are. That's 2 years ago. We went down to PAX. It was the Borderlands 3 release. Very good looking guys. I mean, you can see that we're father and son, right? I mean, that's, we definitely have a lot of like traits there. But I was just thinking that we're COVID ready with those masks on. If they just let us go to PAX like that, would be cool. But unfortunately, it is not going to happen again. It's another huge blow for the industry. It really is a big blow.
Side mention.
Yes.
And before you throw that, because I definitely want to cut off that. Both LG and will.i.am have fashion or tech enabled masks coming out.
Where online?
No, like you wear mask with an audio built in, so you can listen to music, and it, and I think will.i.am is actually a phone, so you can actually, have phone conversation stuff. It makes sense. Look, I think it does in a world where if we actually have to wear masks all the time and we don't escape COVID, then there's no doubt that's going to be the next trend. Also masks.
Well, it does make sense. I'm going to finish up before we get into the Q&A, and I've got some interesting questions, and you're definitely the right person to talk about it. So that was the Vice business card in the SMEmall.org. Go to the mall and just search V1CE or, well, not all. That's what you have to do. That's what it is. Or type in V1CE. Go have a look, order your card. And for anyone that's looking to open a store in the SME Mall, it's free, no monthly charges. Services and products, come see that. I actually had a whole rant and rave on, well, just moan actually on LinkedIn yesterday.
About the fact I liked it.
Yeah, good. The fact that we've built this platform for small businesses who are moaning that they're not at work and they're not signing up. So there it is. There's the URL. Come sign up as a small business, and come see your products. So Q&A. Now, I've only got one question, but you and I were talking offline about something else, and I'm going to actually try and meld the two together. And I think it would be a fantastic way of finishing the show. And maybe another shameless punt for someone that's in the mall as well. So the question that I've got was during the week, I can't afford both. So do I get over-the-ear or in-ear headsets? Now, they did not know that Aryeh Sternberg, the headphones dude, was going to be on the show this week. So it's just quite weird online. And then, given the conversation you and I were having about headsets, I just thought this is a perfect way to finish off the show for us. So let's go to the question first, and then I'm going to get to the conversation you and I were having, and this might actually help that person get the answer to their question. So you can't afford both. Do I get over the ear or in the ear? No. Okay. They are totally different experiences. We were talking about VR with comfort in that just now. You cannot sit all day with buds inside your ears. I don't care how expensive they are, how well they made, how cushioned they are. You can't do it. It's just not comfortable. If you want to sit all day long with a headset on, You gonna jump
Totally.
in there and disagree with me?
On ear as well. There's on ear,
And
there's
Anya,
over
yeah, but
ear.
look, I find Anya, for me, I've always battled with Anya. I find the pressure too much, like on the
Yeah,
ear. So just for those on ears, on the ear, you're wearing Anya at the moment, aren't you? Yeah,
I am. I am.
yeah. So Anya's on the ear, like the padding rests on, over goes right over, which for noise cancelling, which is something we're going to get to now, is more important. And then obviously in ear. I must say that the Jabra, what were they, the 75Es that we used to wear around our neck and plug in on wires. I've actually got a pair floating around over here somewhere. I can probably reach them. Yep,
they
there we
were
go.
fantastic.
These are probably the closest you can get to an all-day in-ear experience. Those hooks look quite vicious, but believe me, they work really well. I mean, they just literally clip in like that, and you don't even notice that they're there. You and I
Yep.
used to use these a lot, like
The
all day long. They hang on your neck, the battery, you just do that, and
sound
they're there, and you
quality.
lift them up, and it's done. Sound was good, everything was good. But still, Aryeh, they were not all-day ear headsets
No.
for me.
There is, I think the answer to that question is all about use case. Because
Great, yeah,
if you're looking for the all around, then you have to figure out how are you going to be using them, because there are people who are sitting at a desk like this all day not exercising, and even if they do exercise, there are over ear headsets, and most of the sport ones, whether it's the ones we were talking about before, they're all usable during an exercise
yep.
experience.
That's actually a very
Not
good comment.
right, but the earbuds that are unwired um, are not going to give you the same quality of sound, and they're not going to give you the same quality of noise canceling if you want it. And also, depending on the exercise you do, you're going to do a trade-off between comfort and usability and what you're getting out of it from the exercise, the IPX, the water
Whatever it
resistance,
is, yeah, yeah.
right? um, and if you want comfort and you want something that's in all the time, then you're really going to be sacrificing well, first of all, there isn't anything you're going to be wearing all the time today. Like, you've got pass-through technology coming up and stuff like that, but it's just not there. But if you're an audiophile, you're not going to get it from an earbud.
Yeah.
But the I got these. We reviewed them before, but these Beyonds, from a sound perspective, incredible, but from a calling perspective, they fall off. They
I'm
just don't
feeling like I'm
they
being
don't
left
work.
out here. So, we're doing show and tell. On the cheaper end of the scale, got these JLabs. I reviewed them before. Wireless charger, nice little thing. Also in the mall, by the way.
That was the one with the
Another type
USB
of
that
Jabra.
comes out, right?
These are the 75s. Yeah, those come out. That's one. This is the one that's got the wire that comes out in the box.
Yeah.
And then even TCL. These look like, well, not look like, they're very similar to the AirPods. The original AirPod shape, which most people have copied. Same case, nothing wrong with the sound. Can I wear any of what I've just showed you all day? No. So I think to
Mm.
your question, I want to get back into what you and I were discussing, because this also would probably help, or maybe it's just a little bit more personal, but hey, it's our show. If your budget was an issue, I would probably say a really good pair of in-ears, because you can use them for Zoom calls. You can use them for training if you get the ones that are active, waterproof, splash-proof, etc. You can use them to run. You can use them to run around. But I think Aryeh answered the question for you. What is your primary use case? If it's for listening to music, definitely over the ear, full immersion, cut out all the sound, make sure you've got the right bass responders. If it's just general purpose and you want to be able to talk on your phone and or call, there's no right answer. On that note, so we were talking about the new Sonys, the Bose, and I threw into the mix the Sennheiser over the ears. I am going to do a shameless punch here. And I'm going to put a little banner up on the screen. In the SME mall, there is 50% off on the Sennheiser PXC 552s. Now, I'm not saying these are the best of the three that we've just mentioned. What I am saying is that these were $550 headsets that are now $275. And for the only thing I'm going to say on Sennheiser is that someone who's been in radio for many years and doing podcasts, that is the professional grade. Sennheiser is what you see in every studio. When we're in studio at Eagle Waves Radio, when COVID's over, we use Sennheiser. So if you were looking for a headset for pro audio, and it will sacrifice some of the bass reflex, some of the equalization, some of those features probably will sacrifice, Sennheiser will win. Right. I'm going to take that off for a second so that we neutral. All right. So you've been doing a lot of research, and I said it a few minutes ago. When it comes to headsets, this is your world and your space. So Sony, what's it? The WF400 M4 Z28 fighter jet. I don't know the number.
XM4 over
XM4.
here.
And then the new Bose. You're talking about the new, what do they call them? Quiet noise or something.
So the Bose 700s are the first advancement they've had in I think 3 years. It was the
It's been a while.
quiet noise like 2 or something, yeah. And so this is their latest. It's a whole new design and how it looks and how it works. Trade-offs, and I've made my decision, but I'll hold it to the end. But I think reviews from everybody else put the Sonys as kind of the all-around winner. The Bose get a little bit ups on the sound and apparently have the best microphone and calling experience, but from a overall like touch and usage perspective, not quite as good. A little bit more comfortable, but all three. That one you just showed, the Sennheiser 5PX2.
What was it? I put it up there. The PX. I had unnecessary bumpage playing again. The PXC 550s.
Yeah, PXC 550s too, and the Sony XM4s and the Bose 700. They're all quite comfortable. For a price point, if you are looking to just save more than a little bit of money, the PX2s are 2/3 the cost of the Sonys and the Bose. So,
and I was going to say, for the person that posted the comment about affordability, so I wanted to segue into this. From an affordability point of view, you are getting that same caliber of the three at half the price. So that is a really, really sweet deal. But it seems from the articles that you sent to me, now I haven't tried the Sonys or the Bose. As Sennheiser I have played with, I've used Sennheiser for years. Sony does trumpet on all the articles, like everything. You've got to make the choice because it's going to be another acquisition for you by the sounds of things. But share it.
It is, and I'm investing specifically for my podcast for the hosting, and I've got to have the audio quality. Now, interestingly, both the sound engineers that work at KUDO and the interpreters, the go-to headset is a wired USB headset and Sennheiser.
Oh wow! Okay,
hands down. And this is, we're talking about United Nations interpreters. The guys you see in the booths doing the interpretation in the back of the room for the United Nations representatives. They're mostly using Sennheiser. So that's there. I think that when you're going to be spending that much money and you're looking for sound, you got to go over ear. But if you're looking for convenience and portability, Sennheiser does make an excellent buds, but you got to be looking at Sony. You've got to be looking at Jabra. You have to look at Bose, and there are a few others that have just come out on the high end. I think was it Bang & Olufsen just launched one, and there's more.
That name for ages.
I know.
And
I know.
B&O used to be, that was like the mainstay of non-pro, like just for consumer use. If you had B&O, it was like wow, and then they just kind of went away.
Yeah.
Okay. So
well, think about what happened to audio. I mean, it went from these big wired speaker sets to everyone just having a portable speaker, and then sound bars, and now there's a new evolution of sound bar coming around. Sony's got something else that they're launching, and wireless. And you look at the quality of Sonos, can't beat it. And the Google, like out of nowhere has quite a decent. If you're not like a
Google
super,
Speaker is really good. Like their
they're
home,
good.
you've got the Nest. They have good, rich sound. It's
Absolutely,
amazing, actually. Yeah.
you've
So we're
got it.
getting towards the end of the show. You've got to tell us what your decision is, because I mean that sincerely, because, as I said, I know when it comes to headsets, this is not something you take lightly. So
No,
whichever way you're going, it's definitely worth sharing.
I, I'm
Which one have you chosen?
I'm going to go with the Bose,
Okay,
the Bose 700, and the reason for it is listening to multiple recordings on multiple reviews, and comparing among those three and a couple others. Just there's the least amount of distortion, and in different noise environments with the ANC, the noise canceling on, the sound quality is the highest. I'm definitely excited to use it to watch Netflix and listen to music and stuff, but it's going to be for the recording. Um,
that's amazing. Because
however,
you were kind of Sony most of the way, right? Until when
I
you had
was
this chat.
I was Sony up until like maybe last week, but I've read so many articles and spoken to all of our technical team over here and had a lot of different recommendations. And there's about 5 or 6 people I know that have the XM3s, which is last year's version, the XM4, which is this year's version of the
Right.
Sony ones. Now the XM3s are great, um, and you can find them at really good deals these days as well.
I think that's the key. As I said, we really do have to wrap up. But the key thing with any purchase is shop around. Well, start at the smemall.org, but shop around, because there are good deals. Look at the time of the year. If it's going to be Black Friday or Cyber Monday or Catch, or there's so many different times or places to buy technology. But the most important thing when you buy is also try and look for an upcoming model, and you do that by age. Anything that's a year or 18 months old, chances are models about to be launched. So no one wants to buy a brand new product and then a week later have the new version come out. That just hurts.
Totally.
But Aryeh, as always, it's so good to have you on the show. Looking forward to the next one. You asked me to look at an app, which is Apple, which I'll have to schedule for another show, and then we'll have to get you on because you've asked me to look at it, and so it's an excuse to get you back on the show as well. But I do have to ring off. So thank you. Thanks again for coming through, or not coming through, being there. there. Yeah, that's it. So until next time, keep your screens clean and your knobs shiny.